guys, this is Annie Margarita Yang back with another video for you today. Today is Sunday, January 14, 2024. And today I'm going to make a response to a comment that I got on the applying to 50 jobs a day video. This comment is from Alexander Zivanovic, and I feel like I have to address this. I'm not like trying to pick on him. I just want to address this because I think a lot of people probably have the same concern, and it's just that Alex has vocalized and verbalized the concern versus other people. They might watch the video, walk away, and they don't say anything. But I mean, he makes a good point. I think a lot of people have this blind spot, this limiting belief, so I think it needs to be addressed. It's just a slight shift in your thinking that will make a difference in your job search. Okay, so Alex commented, do you think about what you are talking in your video? 1 minute per apply equals BS. Every job needs at least customized cover letter. And how much time does it need? I have MBA degree. And what about applying to surgeon position? I don't know what that meant. I think maybe he meant surgery position or surgeon, or software developer or bus driver, BS video. Okay, I have to address the thing about the customized cover letter because I think I got a few comments about every job needs a customized cover letter. No, it doesn't. The cover letter is optional. Cover letters are not mandatory. So in all of my job searches that I've done, I've done so many jobs, right? I have never written a cover letter. What's the point? If you write a cover letter, you have to find out who is the hiring manager, and the listing never says the name of the hiring manager, first of all. So now what? You have to like hunt on the company's website to find out what is the name of the hiring manager, or what are you gonna do? Are you gonna call up the company and ask, hey, I want to apply for this job, but I need to include a cover letter. What is the name of the hiring manager so that I can include that in the greeting? Or are you gonna just go on LinkedIn and look at the people who work at the company, figure out, okay, well, this department has that person in charge, so he must be the hiring manager. Like, how on earth, like, that was my thinking. I was like, how on earth are you even able to figure out who is the hiring manager to begin with so that you can write a customized cover letter? Is it really customized if you just leave it as to whom it may concern? So first of all, it's a lot of time just to figure out how to customize it by putting the hiring manager's name. Second of all, in order to customize a cover letter for every single company that you apply to, you would have to really understand what the company is struggling with, what their values are, what they're looking for in someone. And you know the BS that a lot of companies have, the core values that they explicitly state, like we value honesty and transparency and things like that. They will say that, but based on my experience of working, that's BS. They don't actually value honesty and transparency in the workplace. In fact, if they say something, it actually is the opposite. The culture is the complete opposite. So you don't actually know what the culture is like, first of all, until you work there. So how can you even write a cover letter that can truly speak to the hiring manager when you don't even know what the company really is like, not what they say they are like? So that's why I never bothered to write a cover letter. What I did instead was I wrote a highly targeted resume for the title that I was applying to. So yes, it's important to have a customized resume, but you don't need to customize the resume itself to each individual job that you're applying to. You can have just one highly targeted resume for the title that you're applying to. And I'm asking you to apply to 50 jobs a day for that specific title. So like, for example, if you want to apply for the title front desk supervisor for a hotel, that's the title you're going after. You write a highly targeted resume for front desk supervisor. if a different job that you're applying to, let's say you want two different titles, you know, if front desk supervisor doesn't work out, you're gonna apply for maybe operations, you know, operations assistant, who knows, at a hotel, right? Then you have a separate resume for that title. You don't use the same resume for the front desk supervisor position as you would for the other title that you're going after. So you just have one targeted resume for all of those same titles. But aside from that, don't customize, don't waste your time. Customize a resume for every single job that you apply to. You're not gonna get very far. So what I did was, I don't have an accounting degree, first of all. I don't have, okay? But I managed to land accounting positions without an accounting degree for 3 separate job searches. The first search took 7 days. I got an offer in 7 days. Second search took 6 days. And the third search took only 5 days. What I did was I simply wrote a highly targeted resume in each of those searches. And I just started applying to 50 jobs a day. That's it. It's a really simple process. Now, how good is that highly targeted resume is a different story. Everyone is different. You know, it depends on your own past experiences and how well your writing skills are as well. I have had people come up to me to tell me that their resume is already good. There's no room for improvement. And then I'll take a look at the resume and there's a lot of room for improvement. So I've learned to take what people say with a grain of salt when they say that their resume is already good. I've learned that I still have to say, let me take a look at that, please. I don't want to just assume that it's already good to go. Yeah, that's the biggest struggle. I think people don't know how to write that highly targeted resume. When I say highly targeted, I mean it needs to have keywords, it needs to have accomplishments. I've looked at people's resumes and I'll be very honest, if I just cut the top off where the contact information is and then I just like put everything into a pile, I wouldn't be able to differentiate one applicant from another. And I remember at one of the jobs that I worked as an accountant, I asked my coworker, she was the one who filtered out the resumes before you got the interview with the boss, right? So I asked her, why did she pass my resume on versus someone else who applied for the position? Because I didn't have an accounting degree, so I just didn't understand why my resume got filtered through and someone else didn't. And so she was like, well, let me just show you other people's resumes. You want to take a look? And then so I took a look and yeah, people just don't know how to write a good resume. They don't know how to write. The difference between my resume and someone else's resume is like, let's say, so I'm in accounting, so I'm just gonna keep using my examples because that's what I know best. So let's say at the company I work for, I enter, process, and pay bills. That's basically accounts payable, right? You read the resume of another accountant. A lot of accountants enter, process, and pay bills. It's a really standard task, right? You read those resumes and they'll just say responsible for accounts payable. Yeah, duh. That's what every accountant does. But the difference is my resume would say shortened processing time for accounts payable from previously 5 days to only 2 hours. So like it used to be that the person before me, they took like maybe 5 days before a bill that they got was finally entered into the system. By the time I worked there, and I learned how to do the job, the moment I get a bill, it would be entered into the system within 2 hours, basically. I would say that in my resume, shortened it from 5 days to 2 hours. Or like there was even a job where I worked at a hardware store. I did a lot of things at the hardware store. I was up front taking money and things like that. One of the things that I was in charge of is when a shipment of goods, products came in on the pallet, I had to price them out. So we had illegal immigrants working at this hardware store and they weren't that good at math. And so they would like basically take forever looking at the packing slip. They would look at the packing slip for the model number of the product on the pallet. There was like a whole bunch of products on the pallet, right? and then they would look at the price, and then basically the markup is double. So whatever, if the item on the packing slip says $2, then the sticker on the thing that we charge retail should be $4, right? They would take days to price that up. They would take days. So maybe like it would take them 4 days to finally finish the job. And so I wrote on my resume, shortened, that job from 4 days to same day. So basically the same day that the shipment of the pallet came in, I would price that out right away, and they would use the pricing gun with the sticker, price it out, and it would be on the shelves the same day. Previously it took 4 days, right? So like someone else could do the same job as me, but the difference is I can do it faster. I can do it more accurately as well. So I would convey that on the resume. So we're all doing the same accounting job, but what makes my accounting resume stand out is the fact that I put those little details, things that can be measured. So think of what you can measure numerically on your resume, is whether it's time. Did you save time? Did you save money? Did you somehow cut a process, therefore made it more efficient? That's also time, right? So think of those two things. If you save time, you save money, save on labor, then you will stand out with your resume, because the end goal of business, not to save, no, there's one more, hold on. If you make money, if you can make the company money, you will save, you basically stand out with your resume, because the point of a company existing, as much as we would like to believe that a business exists to change the world and to make a difference and have an impact, the real point of a business is to make a profit at the end of the day. So if you can somehow communicate that you can affect the bottom line in some way and make it clear to that hiring manager, then you'll get called for the interview. That's the difference with my resume and someone else's. It's that I make it very clear cut that I can save the company money, not the company I'm applying to, but that I've saved previous companies, some money, and or saved them time, or I've helped them make money. And a previous track record is a good indicator of what I can help the new company do as well. So think about that. So like, even if you are in the creative space, like let's say you are a photographer, right? And you want to target, this isn't for a resume, this is like for freelancing. You're a photographer, freelance photographer. I'm using this example because my friend is a freelance photographer, and she came to me asking me for help on how to speak to her client. She was targeting Airbnb owners who didn't have super nice pictures on Airbnb for their property. And then I was like, you're talking to real estate investors. They only care about the bottom line. They don't care how gorgeous the pictures come out, okay? This is not why they're doing it. You're not talking to a magazine where the pictures need to come out like the most gorgeous they've ever seen. You're talking about the bottom line. And so when you pitch to the Airbnb owner, you have to say, if you pay for my service, let's say it costs $400 for these sets of pictures, you can increase your revenue. People are more likely to click on your listing and book your listing. And you can also increase the price by X amount of dollars per night. And I can prove to you that you can increase the amount of money that you can get by X amount of dollars per night, because your competition is charging X amount and they have nicer pictures. So if you can just match what they're doing, and they have the same amount of rooms and bathrooms as you, and they're in within driving distance of where you are, then you can also match what they're charging with nicer pictures, and you can get more nights booked, for example. So that's someone who's doing photography, who's affecting the bottom line. Another example is like if you design websites, business owners, companies that need a website design, we don't necessarily care about the design. What we care about is the conversion rate. Can someone get on the site and then become a customer? Can you convert someone who visits the site into a paying customer? If your design can do that, then you should include that on your resume. It's not about how beautiful your web design is. It's about whether you can turn someone into a paying customer. I'll give you an example. So I paid a graphic designer about maybe $2,000 to design my website when I was offering accounting services. That website managed to help me land a $28,000 a year accounting contract with a client. And I asked the client, why did you choose to go with me instead of someone else? He said, your website was the most impressive out of all of them. It conveyed professionalism. I was impressed with the way your website looked and the things that it said on the site. So I decided that since you gave a good first impression, it must mean something good. So that's why you got this contract. And you know, he's been a client for 2 years, so I've made maybe about $56,000 off of this guy, off of a $2,000 website design that I paid for. So how can you affect the bottom line? This needs to be conveyed in your resume. If you cannot convey that, then you're not likely to get called for an interview. If you want to increase your chances, this is what you do. So don't make this, you need a customized cover letter, the end all be all. I would make an exception for the times when you would need a cover letter. That would be like, let's say you're in a special situation. Like for example, I graduated with my associate's degree and my bachelor's degree in the same year because I went to an online school at the same time while I was going to community college. So on my resume, under the education section, it would say like Kingsborough Community College Associate's Degree 2017. And then it would also say like Thomas Edison State University Bachelor's Degree 2017. And over again, like when recruiters were calling me, they were like, Annie, I'm so confused. How do you get a bachelor's degree and associate's degree at the same time? And then I had to like explain to people like over and over again, I went to 2 schools at the same time. I went for a bachelor's and associate's at the same time. So I finished my bachelor's degree in 2 years, the same time as the associate's degree. That's why it's, the graduation year is the same. And something like that could confuse an employer. Yeah, maybe you could write a cover letter and then explain that confusion, right? Like maybe if you're moving, like let's say if I was moving from Texas to Boston, that was a life change that I had at some point, right? And it had a, let's say it had a Texas address, then the employer might have question like, hey, maybe I don't want to give her resume because maybe she's not already here in Boston, so it would be a too big of a hassle to have her fly out here to interview her for the job. So maybe if that were the case, you could write a cover letter and explain, no, I'm already in Boston. I'm staying at like a friend's house, so the address is not the permanent address or something like that. Explain that if you need to schedule the interview, I can be there the same day even because I'm already here in Boston. Like, you know, explaining those things, you might want to explain that in the cover letter. Or like if you were a stay-at-home mom for 30 years, I know a stay-at-home mom for 30 years, she might have to explain why she's been out of the workforce because it's very clear from the resume that it's kind of sparse for all you know, right? So special situations like that, the resume, the cover letter can work, writing a cover letter can work, but you still don't need to customize the cover letter for every employer. Like that's not necessary. You can just include a standard cover letter to explain away those concerns that an employer might have. So that's my response to people who say that applying to 50 jobs a day is a BS strategy, doesn't work, and that you need a custom cover letter for every application you submit. Like what? If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Last thing is I am going to get censored, probably deplatformed, because of the things that I will say about the banking collapse and crisis and about student loans. I'm going to expose the United States government for student loans, basically. So because of the censorship these days, once I'm off the platform, I'm off, right? So I want to be able to get in touch with you guys. So I'm sharing my personal cell phone number. I'm actually willing to risk my privacy just to make sure I am able to stay in touch with people. 806-544-2929. Download the Signal app and then add my phone number. Text me your full name and the city and state where you're based. 806-544-2929. If you're outside of the United States, add a +1 in front and then just your city and your country. The reason for needing to know your location is because in case I will be passing through by where you live, maybe we can meet up for lunch. Maybe I might be giving a speech around where you live. So maybe we can meet up in person. It's always nice to be able to meet people that are like-minded in person, you know, rather than just keeping it on the internet. So that's all. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Remember, add my phone number on Signal, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.